Hi everyone, this is Jess from WakeUp Labs, a Web3 infrastructure studio dedicated to making decentralized technology more usable, scalable, and accessible. This update highlights our work on the centralized Rollup as a service for Optimism. The project is designed to simplify the process of creating a rollup, making it possible for anyone to launch their own. At the same time, its standardized rollup deployment provided users with greater flexibility, scalability, and control. Because our solution is decentralized, users can switch providers easily, unlike most vendors in the market today, fostering a more open and resilient ecosystem. Today, we'll walk through a quick demo led by one of our software engineers, Matthias.
Okay, so this is a quick demo of the RUS Marketplace project. So up until now, the RUS CLI allows us to easily create and deploy and monitor Rollabs using the Optimism stack. So in this case, we want to create a market where for those users who just don't want to get involved at all into running the infrastructure required to keep these chains functioning. So yeah, they can come here to the marketplace and they can just buy it from a provider who's willing to do the work required. So this website is deployed by each of the providers, so they can customize things like the provider name to begin with, but they can also customize the offers that we're displaying here. It can be here we just have one, but there can be multiple offers with multiple plans like deployment on Ethereum as an L1 or deployment on Binance or any other L1 they want to support, and include Explorer or not, etc. So they can customize the offers that are going to be displayed here. And they can also later change things like the colors, I don't know, the brand kit, etc. So to do so, we provide instructions here, which would be actually pretty straightforward, pretty simple. The contracts are the same for every vendor, so they all need to use the same contracts that guarantee certain that provide certain guarantees for the user, and we're going to discuss right now. But yeah, this on this side, and so we're gonna now, for example, buy one of these rollup and make a full flow to showcase. So sequencer, we're gonna buy a sequencer. It's a new chain, so we need to make initial deposit. So in this case, as you can see, we're using also test tokens. So for demo, the initial deposit is how much money kind of we wanna commit initially to run this deployment. The payment is gonna be per month. So if the contract finishes before, the user can still recover the remaining money. And yeah, so they need to make an initial deposit, and we select which kind of sequencer we want, like if it's a new chain or if existing, if we're coming from a different provider, for example. So let's set new, let's set the name, demo, create. Now we need to approve these tokens and create the request, deposit the tokens and create this request. We can see here, nothing. We're right now waiting for the provider to fulfill this request. So they have 24 hours before the order expires, and I, as a user, can claim back all my funds. If you didn't fulfill in this time, yeah, I can claim back. If they fulfilled, then the user also has an additional 48 hours to review the deployment, ensure everything is as he expected, and if not, he can unsubscribe and claim back all the money again. Otherwise, after these 24 hours, the first payment will be running. So yeah, it's kind of here. So the user will be waiting, and we can show now on the vendor side. We have here this new order created right now. And yeah, we can see here in fulfill, we can see the request that he made. Well, for instance, they will include artifacts. It will be a replica, for example, or a sequencer for an existing chain. So that can be here. In this case, it's a new chain, so nothing. And then the offer that we make. So we need to deploy the contracts on Ethereum. We need to run the L2 chain. And we need to run the Explorer. Right now we can help ourselves with the kind of restart from the console. So to create a configuration, so it's a Ethereum mainnet, Ethereum, the chain ID for the user should be fine. Token, it's a name demo, YAML. And then we're going to download this configuration, which we're going to put it here in temp. Perfect. Pick this one. And we can find it here as well. So we have initial configuration that we can further customize, but initially it's pointing into Ethereum as that token that we set it up and onto chain ID. So then we can, if we want, customize more like block times and so on. But yeah, initially this should work. User also should, the provider in this case should put their private keys, the one they said they're going to use, and the L1 RPC. When all is done, they can simply use the CLI to deploy. In this case, I'm just going to run it locally for the demo. Answer. This is just for timing to make it quicker for demo. But yeah, for deployment, it will be basically the same. Instead of start, you should put deploy, and that should be it. So yeah. Now we're gonna see that here in deployment, there's gonna be a new folder with the artifacts after this finishes deployment locally, in this case, contracts, and then it's on the infra on the local Kubernetes. So yeah, we're gonna wait a bit. But yeah, so this is basically how it looks like. UI. There are also these instructions right here, actually. And yeah, for verify as well. They can keep track of this deployment in the console of the vendor. So for example, to check the addresses that we provide and download the artifacts as well. But yeah. So here, it's all the infra. We can already see the artifacts here. To set this locally fine, and so I can come here to this one artifact. The artifact from deployment, those will be the same. It will be like a mainnet deployment. Open, and click on fulfill. I'm gonna confirm the transaction. We're fulfilled. Now we can see it on here. As I'm going, I can terminate it as a provider, and I can withdraw funds once the guarantee expires, so I can start withdrawing. But yeah, then on the user side, we can already see the addresses of my deployment, the chain ID, the RPC URL. I can unsubscribe. I have here instructions about the guarantee that we have. I have 48 hours left. I can make more deposits, for example, 30 days more. And I can download the artifacts from my chain. So yeah, for example, let's try to make a deposit. And approve, and the deposit itself says no, check, and we have more days and more balance remaining. So we can also unsubscribe, said before. Here we have multiple steps. The first step is to terminate the payments, so we just stop the clock basically for the payment, and we withdraw all the amount for us and for the provider. And then we need to, on the L1, remove permissions from the provider in this case. So we're going to terminate, and done. This is unsubscribed. And then we can do it right now or later. In this case, I'm running locally, so it doesn't make much sense, but we can execute these transactions to remove permissions from the sequencer, batcher, and etc. So we regain control of our chain. Subscribed, and here we have this warning about revoking the permissions. And yep, that's pretty much it. Here we can download the artifacts as well. And here in terminated, we should see it right here. So I should shut down everything from my side. And yep, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much.